I'm never fully satisfied with my desk setup. I'm always looking for ways to be more productive. And honestly, I just want stuff on my desk that makes me happy if I'm stuck there for hours. If I'm constantly rotating through different gadgets, I don't want to drop a ton of cash on every single one. So today, I've got 5 new tech gadgets plus a bonus one that you can pick up on Amazon for under 50 bucks. First up is the Zoomfon Stream Controller SE. So if you've looked at the Stream Deck Mini before, this is basically a budget version of that. But here's the thing, this thing actually has more for a lower price. You don't just get 6 customizable LCD buttons, you also get additional 6 controls and 3 knobs. And honestly, I was more excited about the knobs than anything else. There's just something way more satisfying about turning a physical knob for volume, brightness, or maybe timeline scrubbing than tapping keys or dragging a slider. One of my presets is for Spotify. I've got buttons mapped to different playlists so I can jump between them instantly, plus controls for skipping tracks and pausing. And of course, the knob is perfect for quick volume changes. I also built a profile for Photoshop, so I have buttons for selections, brushes, and layers, and then the knobs can scale brush sizes and zoom the image. Now, critics might say you can just bind all these to your keyboard, and yeah, technically you can, but having dedicated buttons and physical dials is just a different experience. If you're leveling up your setup, nothing makes a bigger impact than a comfortable office chair. Grab our guide where we rank all of the most popular chairs. The link is in the description. This is the Hybori magnetic tablet arm, and it solves a real problem I've had at my desk for a long time. I often use my tablet as an additional screen, but every tablet stand I've tried either takes up too much space or sits too low on the desk. This arm fixes that by clamping to the edge of your desk and getting the tablet up near your monitors. It feels very stable. My tablet only came off when I bumped it pretty hard. It's great for watching media, monitoring smart devices, or using it as a productivity dashboard. And if you use a walking pad without a standing desk, this lets you keep watching something or maybe take video calls without constantly looking down. The arm feels premium thanks to the aluminum construction, and the reinforced joints prevent drooping throughout the day. My only annoyance is that near the top, there isn't a true pivot point, so angle adjustments aren't quite as flexible as a full monitor arm. I bought the magnetic gray version, but depending on the lighting, it has a little bit of a blue-green tint. I like the floating look when the device magnetically attaches without seeing a clamp. But if you keep your device in a case, you might need to buy the clamp attachment instead. I added the included metal ring to the back of my tablet, and that was enough for the magnet to hold tight. Overall, I'd definitely buy this again. It frees up space, feels great, and really levels up the setup. Anker's MagSafe stand is a great option if you want a sleek charger and phone mount that won't take over your whole desk. I've tested the larger Anker MagGo charging station in the past, and while it's awesome if you want a full hub, it becomes a cable management mess. But this one keeps things simple. It lifts your phone up at a nice viewing angle that you can tilt up to 45 degrees or rotate your phone all the way around. And you can actually use your screen while it charges. This is something that those flat wireless pads just won't let you do. You also get a second wireless charging pad on the base for your AirPods. One thing worth mentioning, if your phone is in a case, it needs to be MagSafe compatible or thin enough for the magnet to grab through it. While it's a bit hard to remove your phone one-handed, there's kind of a trade-off here because the magnet is strong. Your phone isn't going to slide off it if you bump your desk. This is great on a desk, but honestly, it might even be better on a nightstand. Being able to see your screen at the right angle makes notifications, alarms, or just late night checks way easier. So you may end up wanting one for each spot. The LOXP electric air duster is a great alternative to canned air, which tends to get cold and run out right when you need it the most. It has a 150,000 RPM motor with 3 different speed settings, which is surprisingly strong enough for desktop cleaning. Honestly, the different settings don't feel that different, and why wouldn't you just use the highest setting every time? It does a great job of blasting dust out of keyboards, vents, and tight spots that a vacuum can't reach. The LED light is actually useful for seeing what you're doing in a darker area. I also tested the much cheaper Ogestar desk vacuum, and while a vacuum is nice because it actually holds the junk you're trying to clean, it doesn't have nearly the power. Battery life is good enough to use it several times between charges, and it recharges over USB-C. One big downside is its size. It's bulky, and I don't want that sitting out on my desk. For quick, powerful cleaning around your workplace, this has been very effective. but for the $32 I paid for it, it's the only product on the list I'm not sure I'd recommend at that price. The EpoMaker Aula F75 is a 75% form factor mechanical keyboard. It features a gasket mount design. This gives the typing a softer, slightly springy response. It's subtle, kind of like if you have extra padding in your shoes. It's just a little more comfortable overall feel. Aesthetically, I love the all-white look. It's clean, minimal, and looks great on camera or on a modern desk. The overall build quality feels great. It's solid and plants stably on my desk. The red switches on this board have a lighter actuation force than I'm used to, so that can feel fast and responsive, but for me it led to more accidental presses and the occasional double tap. For pure switch feel, I prefer the Gateron G Pro brown switches in my Keychron board. Those just feel a bit more controlled to me, but maybe I just need to get used to these. The F75 also uses a hot swappable PCB, which means you can pull switches and drop new ones with no soldering. Sound-wise, the F75 leans towards a clackier profile. The higher pitched tap with a touch of resonance. It's not bad, but personally I prefer the deeper thock sound. One more note, the RGB lighting uses single color LEDs, and the aesthetic is pretty specific. It looks clean, but color matching your setup might be tricky if you care about that. After using the F75 for a while, I realized I was instinctively reaching off to the right for number keys that just weren't there. So that's where the EK21 comes in. Since it's a separate unit, you can place it wherever you want, next to your mouse for data entry or on the left for shortcuts. It feels more natural to me having it next to my mouse. Hit the number pad and use the knob without having to travel back across the desk, especially during tasks where my right hand is already glued to my mouse. And sound-wise, I much prefer the thockier profile on the EK21. It has a deeper, more satisfying tone that feels great to type on. The EK21 has zebra switches. The knob also feels higher quality than the one on the F75. It also features tri-mode connectivity with wired, Bluetooth, and 2.4 GHz, so you can run it wirelessly if you want a cleaner desk. If you have recommendations for my next round of gadgets, let me know what they are in the comments. Thanks for watching.